What is good, everybody? It's Ross. It's been a minute, but I'm super back right now. We moved to a new place. This is officially my first video since I've moved, and well, I don't know if I don't even know if this is gonna be my first video for real, because this video is gonna be a little different. But anyway, I want to just get straight into this. That I've been getting a lot of love for my Sinners review. I feel like it's kind of like an ayahuasca type of experience. I feel, people are like, oh man, this movie is really not that good, huh? And of course, there's still people dropping content, celebrating it, and the algorithm just rewards them. It's insane to me. Anyway, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna make a couple more content because I know Oscars are coming up, and this, my video was a year ago, and I'm getting comments and views are going up still. And so this will be one of those videos that's probably going to blow up later down the years or whatever. But I want to make two videos. I want to make a video where I'm looking at the comments and I'm replying to the comments, maybe answering some more questions on my thought process of the movie and why I did not enjoy it. But in this video, I actually I recorded me watching the entire thing. And yeah, that was my original plan. So this video here, I watched the entire video. I'm like, yo, I was gonna not ever post this, but I spent 2.5 hours doing this. And I think I'm just gonna post it. I'm just gonna post it, like whatever. I don't care. I'm not even gonna edit it. I'm watching it. So you're just gonna watch this thing, me watching it and my thought process of it. I don't think I say anything too crazy on there. So anyway, I think about 10 minutes in, you'll actually see the beginning of the video. I'm just kind of watching and I'm not showing the video. But then I changed my mind. I'm like 5 minutes in. So yeah, look out for that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. This is from a year ago, and more videos are on the way. All right, peace. What's good, everybody? It's Ross, and this is my movie channel. I have my music channel, of course, and yeah, I am doing a full breakdown analysis on the movie Sinners because I believe it deserves it, because y'all on Twitter and on TikTok have been hyping up this movie so much and calling it a masterpiece and making crazy think pieces that at this point y'all are just making up. Y'all are just making up at this point. Because if you go on Twitter, if you go anywhere, I mean, if you go on YouTube, everyone is praising this. No one is like breaking down. There's so many plot holes. There's so many missed points in this movie. It was just, I don't know if people understand the definition of a good movie. What makes a movie good? What makes it a masterpiece? And so a lot of it can be subjective, right? But there are pillars to movies by the greats there are pillars in movies that makes movies great that you have to have. You have to have consistent pacing and tension, okay? Strong, compelling characters, meaningful character arcs, character development, all of that. A cohesive world building and internal logic. Themes naturally woven into the story. You need to have emotional payoff at the end that feels earned. Solid structure, solid story structure and directing, cinematography and visuals, score and music use, dialogue and tone, originality and originality. That all kind of comes into play. And so Sinners misses on probably 70% of that list, to be honest. The pacing is awful in the first half. There's so many plot holes and plot devices to move the movie forward. That just felt lazy. It was just so much lazy writing just in this movie all over. So to give this movie a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 is insane to me. And so it just tells me that this is just, we're supposed to just, because anything that Ryan Coogler makes, even if it's absolute dog shit, we're supposed to highlight. We're supposed to celebrate this. That's pretty much what's happening here. And I'm not with that, because how are we going to make these people get better if they're just going to keep giving us crap and we're going to eat it and we're going to be like, oh my God, like Black excellence, let's support. Isn't that, I mean, what was that dude? I forget what the guy's name was, who said we shouldn't just be celebrating Black business because they're Black business. They need to actually be good businesses. They need to be good businesses. I don't care if you're Black. It's a business good, and so it's the same thing for movies. Is the movie good, or are you all about aesthetics? And so I can just tell most of these people on here on Twitter that are hyping this movie up, it's all about aesthetics. It just makes you look good. It's, pro-Black. It's a whole thing. But the movie itself is not good. And I'm super disappointed to say that, because I actually wanted this movie to be really good. Anyway, I'm going to break it down here. I'm going to show some pictures from start to finish, low key. And, I might skip some things, but I'm just going to really point out the stuff that really matters to this critique on to back up what I'm saying. Okay. The movie starts off with the focus being the person, not the guitar. There was some confusion as well in this movie, where is it Sammy or is it the guitar? Is it Sammy or is it the guitar that has the powers? There was there was some lines that were blurred in that aspect. So we got to clock it here. This scene, the first scene that the twins are introduced, is 5 minutes in. It's like 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Mind you, I've seen this movie 3 times, okay? The first one was for my own benefit, and the second one is to try to break this down. And yeah, the first one, I went to the movies for, and then the second and third time has been you can take a guess on where I've watched it, okay? But I supported this movie. Ryan Coogler got my money on that, so it is what it is. But so just back to what I'm saying, the movie starts off with Michael B. Jordan and and his twin. So the Smoke and Stack, okay? Just the opening scene with Smoke and Stack waiting for Hogwood to show up. They're smoking together, and it's like 2 different shots. It's like one shot, they're looking at the road. The second shot, they're looking at, their back. There's a shot looking back at Smoke and Stack, and then another shot looking at the empty road, and then Hogwood comes. And so I think, what could have happened to make up for that time, if you're going to use that time, use it to build something more than just, okay, they're 2 twins and they're sharing a cigarette. One is creating a cigarette. Why not start the scene with Smoke trying to create the cigarette? Like Smoke is never giving up on making a cigarette. You can tell he's got some kind of thing going on, being in the war and all that kind of stuff. But to have him start off trying to make a cigarette, and then him failing, and then Stack be like, man, let me take that. And so use that to show that Smoke doesn't know how to make a cigarette, and that, I think that would have translated way smoother, and just added a little bit more depth to their relationship. And to make up for that time, I feel it would have been a less awkward scene. We're just sitting there. It's been 5 minutes. Hogwood isn't introduced until 5 minutes and 45 seconds into the film, and that is crazy. That is crazy to me. So Hogwood gets introduced, and as we know, he's supposed to be the Grand Master Ku Klux Klan. Smoke and Stack are not aware of this. This actually might work better. Okay. Can't believe I'm about to freaking rewatch this whole freaking movie right now. All right, I'm doing this for y'all so that y'all can just take, you know, I'm not gonna share this website. I'm gatekeeping this website. Y'all just gonna find it. You're gonna have to find this movie on your own. So, okay, I made the screen bigger, all right, so you guys can enjoy it a little bit more, this presentation. But so Hogwood is introduced. He's a Grandmaster. Smoke and Stack don't know this. They just think it's a regular white dude selling them this mill for their juke joint, okay? And I just feel like this is lame because, not lame, but I just think that what I think the movie was missing was like white folks actually being worse. This is like Disney cartoonish characters of white folks. Like these white men just look too regular. I don't know how to explain it, but they're not racist enough for me. I guess what I'm saying is these white folks are not racist enough for me. I need them to be racist, like in Django, or in 12 Years a Slave, like something like that is what I'm expecting. These white people in this movie are soft. They were soft. All right, this guy was soft. If you're a Grandmaster, come on. Why would it? I mean, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Twins? Well, we could. Well, there she is. They moved to September a month back in its heyday. Workers lived upstairs. What do you fellas plan on doing with the place? I wash this floor. Yeah. Move on. I thought y'all dead set on buying it. One time I spent with y'all, unless sure I ain't more than serious about it. Ain't no boys. I'm just grown men. Grown men what? And grown men boys. I ain't made them buy it. Just what we talk down here. Who'll tell you? Men, equipment, and the land is standing on. Damn, no, it's funny. It's the last time we look for sequels. And if we see you on one of the claim books, cross our property line, we gonna kill right with this thing.
And so I'm gonna be skipping a lot. Like I don't want to, like, I'm not gonna break down every second of this movie, because it just fucking came out. But so yeah, it just, I think what I wanted to say earlier was, okay, I guess buying from the KKK, like I guess that's realistic. Like a KKK member selling, two black men, a mill. It just, just to round them all up and unalive them. I'm just like, okay, fine, we'll buy it. Okay, all right, we will buy it. So, we'll buy that. So.
That's right. Finish my quota for the day. Yeah, I brought it in here. I want you to help.
So yeah, this is when Sammy is kind of, we saw him introduced earlier, when it was a scene, however they started off, he was introduced like this. But I guess I'm just not feeling Sammy. I just don't feel him throughout the movie. It's just really annoying. I don't know. This is maybe just personal. I just feel like he doesn't really command the screen to me. I feel like they could have gotten an actor who really commands the screen. And I heard that this is his first film, and I think he did okay. I don't think he did anything crazy like everyone's hyping up to be. So You might call me a hater for that, but that's just how I feel when I see Sammy on screen. He does not command anything. He honestly seems like an extra to me. So
One day it's gonna follow you home.
So in this scene, Sammy's father is telling him, "Hey, you keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home." All right. So the way his dad is saying it is as if he has some real knowledge, like literal knowledge on the lifestyle that Sammy is trying to live or wants to partake in. And this is what I mean when it ties into world building, that in reality, in this movie, when the vampires show up, literally no one knows about vampires except for Annie, and she's never even heard of it, and so it would be a better world building if the vampires existed already. Let's say that vampires are attracted to night culture and music, and they might be a little bit more populated but undercover in the north, but in the south maybe not so much. Maybe they're not really around in the south, so it's kind of like an old, like it's just a rumor. It's kind of like Sasquatch, like Sasquatch rumors in certain parts of the world, certain parts of America, the Sasquatch. The vampires could be depicted as that. They're like, oh, you're just overthinking it. That's not a real thing, this and that. It could have been a world like that. And then I think it would be better because Smoke and Stack are leaving Chicago to come to Mississippi. And it would be better, instead of just them getting away from the gang life and starting their own juke joint, what if they just wanted to get away from like the nightlife as well that vampires are populated in? What if Smoke and Stack already knew about this movie? I mean, what if Smoke and Stack already knew about vampires? You know what I mean? So I think that would have been a better world building in general. Is if they already, like, they're just already known and existed. So I think it's fine here.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day it's gonna follow you home. Hey, little girl, come on up. Got me all down here waiting on the gun. Rant. Oh, don't you worry now, Uncle Johnny. Don't get back in the wrong place. In the crew, that's what I'm.
You set up tonight. Open up next week. Cracker showing up, they already got us behind skid.
So this scene here where, okay, Sammy and Smoke, Stack, they all link up and they are about to recruit the people to support the juke joint. That happens tonight, right? Which sounds really unrealistic, honestly, to recruit all the people you need to work for you and be available tonight. I mean, okay, fine, we'll go with that. But the reason why, honestly, they don't really make it a clear reason. It's just saying, oh, Cracker's showing up. They already got us behind schedule. It doesn't really line up. It doesn't make sense, honestly. Let me just. it really doesn't add up. It really doesn't make sense that these guys split up in the first place. I feel like Ryan Coogler could have made a stronger point on why they should split up. The reason why they split up, because this twin element just doesn't work. This twin element can't work consistently. I think the twin thing is cool back in the 90s and early 2000s, but in 2025, it's just not that compelling. I think, as you'll see, you know, Michael B. Jordan, Smoke and Stack are way too much alike. Smoke is a little bit more angrier. Stack is a little bit more like happier, you know. But overall, like Stack and Smoke, they have the same speech pattern. They act the same. It could have been a good. It could have been a good opportunity to. It could have been a good opportunity for Michael B. Jordan to show his acting range. I think he's a great actor, but I don't know how great his range is to create a twin. And we know right off the bat the difference. You know, they both have the same kind of looks on their face. And as we know, we heard the rumors, Jonathan Majors was supposed to be one of these twins, was supposed to be one of these brothers. And I don't think it would have saved this movie, but I think it would have helped it a little bit, because it got confusing in certain parts between two Michael B. Jordans, especially when they took off their hats, really. So, anyway, so that's why they have to split them up, because there's no way that they're going to have the whole movie with Michael B. Jordan together, and you know, recruiting all these people and going through town and all that kind of stuff. So.
You gotta negotiate. Now, 10 cents just won't work for.
So I want to highlight the potential that this movie had to be really good was in this scene with him and this little girl or teenager, and you know, it was an opportunity for him to teach her business, and it was really well. It was just good dialogue. It was just a good connection. Him, you know, making an effort, you know, so you can see that, okay, this character has, you know, some morality. Like, you know, he's not just a gangster. He wants to help the youth. He wants to help raise the youth to stand on their own. And so I think that this is a really good scene. I remember liking this scene. I'm like, okay, that was a very thoughtful scene. Okay. This is a very short list, honestly, of good scenes in this film. This was probably the first one, might be the only one. I can't remember. But I just needed to highlight that. Come on, dog. Okay. So this scene here, this whole relationship between Smoke and the Chows. All right, these are, you know, this family owns 2 restaurants. One restaurant here, or a bar of some sort, or a convenience store, and then the other side, his wife Grace has a store. So they got 2 stores. Okay. Now somehow Michael B. Jordan and this family have a good relationship. Smoke and this family have a relationship, and it is good. And they need, instead of putting this scene, the next scene, instead of doing a scene where Michael B. Jordan is shooting a black man in the ass and in the kneecap, and then giving them money to be patched up, instead of doing that whole stupid scene, why not break down what is their relationship, like deeper? What did they do together? Because historically, Chinese immigrants or Chinese families, especially back in the 1930s, did not like black Americans. I cannot emphasize this enough, that Ryan Coogler has a responsibility to make sure the message is clear. There was no solidarity between black people and Chinese people. Chinese, you know, wanted to distance themselves from black people as much as they could, and white folks didn't make that easy. So they allowed them to make businesses in our communities, and they didn't have to worry about getting their establishments burnt down like black Americans did. Okay, so the fact that, okay, this is a non-racist Chinese family, even though the daughter seemed kind of racist, which I thought that was accurate, but everybody else, him and Grace, are not racist. I'm like, okay, what is it then? Like, what is the relationship? So I think what would have been better and historically honest is for them to be racist, but they have a background of transactional relationships. So whenever Smoke is around, they're like, okay, we about to make some money. We don't care about black people, but we care about that manyan. You know what I mean? That would have been better instead of this embracing hug of friendship. Look at that smile, bro, showing all his teeth. Dude is happy to see Smoke. It would have been better if it was a more toxic type of relationship where it's like, what do you want? You know, something like that, you know, like he's like, you know, we don't, you know, what do you want? Like, you know, the same kind of cold look that Lisa had, have him have the same thing. Like have them all be stoic and like, what do you want? Okay. All right. You need me here at this time. All right, let's do it. You know, something like that. Don't just give us this as if it's 2025. And no, we need what is their relationship? Did they commit crimes together? How did they get close? How did they, you know, that's what I'm talking about when we talk about creating compelling characters. This is one of those where Ryan Coogler misses the mark. Absolutely misses the mark. Absolutely misses the mark. So as I said before, I hated this scene because we're just now getting to know Smoke, right? Smoke was just having a conversation with this teenager and teaching her about business and all that kind of stuff, right? And we want a character we can root for. And I don't like this optics of embracing this Chinese man and then shooting your own people in the ass. You know, like, why not just hit him with the gun? Like, you can still be gangster, but you don't gotta shoot a man like that, like for going through your trunk. It's just, it was so out of pocket. It's so out of pocket. Like, he should be ruthless to everybody. He should not have any friends. A man like this should not have any friends if he's willing to just shoot somebody in the ass for going through their truck. Like, bro, you used to live in this town. You probably grew up with some of these people, and you just out here shooting people in broad daylight. And we'll get to that too, because there's white folks on the other side of the street. It makes no sense that he's out here pulling out a gun, shooting people twice, people running, and it's actually not a big deal. It does not make sense. This is not the Wild Wild West right here, and it's not even an all black community here where shit like this probably would go down. There's white people right across the street, literally right across the street. So I don't understand. I hated this scene. I absolutely hated this freaking scene. Yeah, I hated this scene.
Lisa, go get your mom.
Mama, Daddy loves you. Thank you.
So I want to highlight this here, this scene right here. These are white folks. There was in a store where it was only white people in there. Only white people in there. And literally another 50 feet, she's going to the store. That means when Smoke shot those guys, there was white folks across the street and nothing happened. White folks would have, what the hell? So that is already inconsistent as hell, and it annoys me. It's kind of like in the movie Interstellar when you're in a dream and you do something crazy, or you do something off in the dream and then everyone just stares at you. Like that's what it's like when you watch movies like this, where you're trying to get immersed in this world and then something off happens that doesn't make sense at all. It's like you kind of get out of the movie. You're like, oh wait, what the fuck? You're like, you want to be. You want to be engulfed in this movie, but when you have scenes like that, I'm like, whoa, there's white folks across the street and he was able to shoot people and then go back in the store and leave, and what? Bro would have been hung or something like that. I mean, that's crazy. That is insane that, there's a black community right across the street from a white community and he was able to shoot somebody. And there was no issues, no cops. No, it doesn't make any sense. And I hated that. That's why this movie pisses me off. And we're only freaking 16 minutes in, dude. So, again, the relationship between Smoke, Grace, and I think his name is Bo, right? The Chows. They all have a pretty positive relationship. It seems like the mother might have a little bit more business relationship, but you can tell she likes him. And I think that it would be more consistent if she was racist. It would have been way more consistent if she was actually racist, because as we know at the end of the movie, she's the reason why all the vampires got in. And it would have made more sense that she was racist from the jump. It did not care about the black people in the party at all, but that's not the case. That is not the case here.
Lick that. Not too hard, not too soft either. You know some of that ice cream down there? About the same pressure you put on that. Like it tastes good, but you don't want it gone too quick, you understand? You always say you tell me what happened to your daddy when I got older. Later. On the way back. Alright. You always say you tell me what happened to your daddy when I got older.
So the next scene introduces Sammy and Stack together driving to get Slim. Okay. Now, this conversation, the reason why the pacing is off is because they have these stupid conversations, and it doesn't connect with the story completely, you know. And I mean, I can understand, like, it's just something to build rapport, but okay, it was hella weird that this conversation, they started the conversation about Stack giving him advice about fellatio on a woman. You know, so that's how the shot is introduced, him going down on a woman. And as we know later in the film, that's what he tries to do, and they try to make the connection. Like, in that scene, I hated that scene. I'm like, bro, it was just it was just doing too much. I just remember that. I was like, bro, like, you ain't gotta do all that. I can't exactly remember, but anyway, as soon as he start, like, they're done talking about fellatio, he jumps and talks about how his dad died. He says something like, you told me you're gonna tell me about your dad when I got older. That's you think that was a very natural conversation, talking about giving a woman head and then going into and questioning or asking Stack about his dead father. Does that make sense to you? Does that writing sound consistent to you? No, it doesn't feel right. I'm like, what the hell? Why? Like, why didn't you just start the conversation, start the scene with that? We don't really care. It just doesn't matter. The fellatio thing does not make sense at all. And, this could have been a good conversation to have, because he was talking about Smoke being the one to kill his father. And this scene is supposed to just show a little bit about their past. And it's just unfortunate that this history could have been had some connection to the movie. Like, instead of Rennick even existing and being a vampire, have their father be the vampire. Have the father be the vampire. That would completely connect better than just a random Irish dude coming out. Have the father, Smoke and Stack thought he was dead. They thought they killed him, but he was a vampire the whole time. And, is coming back to rekindle. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later, but that's kind of how that worked. That's how I'm thinking. Like, this conversation, every minute counts. So the reason why people call the pacing slow is because, like, all the information you get in the first half really doesn't even matter to the story. Honestly, does not matter at all. It doesn't matter to the entire story and the connection with the vampires. And it's just recruiting people, and it's just the way they recruit. Like, the recruitment could have been done within 30 minutes. Like, just jump over to Slim, say, hey, we try to make some money. Yeah, let's make some money. And it would all, and then you still would have threw the party. Everybody would have died. Like, nobody cared about him. And the movie would have ended. The movie probably would have been a little bit better if it wasn't so freaking long. So anyway, yeah. So. Whoa, what the fuck? So as we know, they pick up Eli, and I remember, I guess, you know, now watching it again, like, you know, it is what it is, but yeah, they pick up Slim. They pick up Slim, and then we're introduced to Mary, I believe. So Perlene gets introduced here as well. Perlene gets introduced, and this is supposed to be some kind of love interest, obviously, between Sammy and Perlene. Perlene just happens to be married for some reason. Don't know why she's married. The husband is not in any of these shots. She's just always by herself. I mean, what would have made more, to me, would have made more interesting if the husband was there and he was at the party. He came to the party with her, and then he hooked up with her. Like, make it more exciting. Don't just make this woman who's single the whole movie, but make her married. It just doesn't make sense. It's just stupid. Like, don't make her married. Why does she have to be married?
Excuse me, boy. This here smoke? Or is this stack? Don't look at it. Just over there and keep playing. It's okay. You know I waited for you. So why the hell you going to do that? Because you told me you loved me. I told you to stay the fuck away from me too, but I guess you didn't hear that far. I heard you. I heard you loud and clear, but then you stuck your tongue in my clothes and fucked me so hard, I figured you changed your mind. Keep your voice down now. It's not exactly how I remember. Oh, man. Remember falling asleep with your hand on that chest? Leaving in the middle of the night without a fucking word? What the hell are you doing back here, man? I buried my mama yesterday, Stack. Figured I might see you and smoke that when she looked after you, boy. But I guess y'all love that shit as long as y'all can get something out of her. You right. That's all she was. Fool. I won't leave. What the hell, Stack? Yeah, how are you? So you gonna trap one ass wrong? You right next to me.
So this is when Mary is introduced, and yeah, this relationship is all over the place and completely disrespectful. But this is how we're introduced to these characters, you know. So we're supposed to care about these characters. That, I mean, Stack doesn't care about them. You know, Stack doesn't care about Slim really. You know, Stack doesn't really care about this young lady. And I just see how they make whiteness a spectacle. You know, like. We'll talk about it later in the film. I think that made it hella cringe, but yeah, like just the fact that, like, okay, I didn't like how as disrespectful Stack was about her and her mother who passed. Like, you know, like her mother raised them after their mother died, and he was like, yeah, we just viewed her as food, you know, like as, getting food from her. That's it. It's just completely disrespectful, And so she was saying rotten hell. And then he's like, yeah, I will, but you'll be right there next to me. Why? What does she do? What lifestyle does she have where she would rot in hell? You're literally a gangster. You all have literally killed people. What has she done for you to say that? So this movie doesn't make sense. And so that's what I want to really say about the theme. Sinners. If you're going to have a movie about sinners, have everyone in the movie like be some kind of pimp, hustler, prostitute, like people that are involved in the nightlife and that kind of thing. This what I'm seeing here, you don't see that. You see, like, this looks like a regular woman, an everyday working woman, just like everybody else in this film. Slim is a guy who seems like homeless, but he's super talented, and he's a drunk, so he might be a sinner. He could probably fall into that camp, but it just doesn't make sense. The movie is inconsistent with that. If you're gonna say that, okay, you're gonna be in hell with me, then give us a reason why you're saying that. Don't just say that. You don't just say, yeah, you're gonna be in hell. That means she ain't shit just as much as you ain't shit, and that is not shown on screen here right now. It shows that you ain't shit. Her mom just died, and you're completely disrespectful. She has done nothing in the scene to show us that she has even competed to the same level of disrespect that you have done, Stack. You know what I mean? So it's just not consistent.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe she ain't white.
So I want to talk about this later, but I really think they made Mary a spectacle. Him saying, oh, maybe she ain't white. That's what he's saying. Oh, this is a white woman looking at you, bro. Oh, it's a light. And then, oh, maybe she ain't white. It's just like white passing ADOS people existed, so like, it is what it is that they couldn't find, or they didn't cast an actor. I'm assuming this actor I think she was in the Spider-Man series film or whatever. So she's got some clout. She probably, that's probably, she's going to bring in some numbers, I guess. But I think they should have gotten a real white passing Black American. There's so many people out there that can pass as white, but you can tell they're Black American. This girl, she's not at all, but in this movie, we're supposed to just play into the fact that she is Black American. She's just white passing, and so, I'll break that down when I get to that freaking scene that I'm talking about. And so I think this right here, this scene is what dragged the movie. It just dragged the movie. Okay, we just had this scene, like, okay, up until this scene, we're all pretty awake right here. But when this scene happens and Slim starts talking, and it doesn't add, I mean, this would have been a great scene to add to the lore. Hold on. This scene would have been a great scene to add to the lore of vampires. Talk about something related to the vampires, because he goes into the story about how his friend got lynched. But in this scene, he's talking to a whole bunch of them. He's talking to, like, to the men in the ditch, the incarcerated men digging in a ditch, and he stands up. He's like, hold your heads up now, hold your heads up. And then so Sammy's asking, oh, do you know them? And then he said, I know all of them. He said, oh, how do you know them? And then he goes into the story talking about one guy in this scenario where they get caught making music or something like that, and want to go into jail and being accused of something, but then they want to plan for people.
Hold on. Whatever. Me and my buddy Rice. There's a husband back and boys up to Delta. We get busted for babies. The white sheriffs been found in jail house. That's it. That's what you're gonna kill us that night. You just ask them if that they don't play. Stack and play, preacher what we play, you know? Music was coming out the window. People was on the street was stopping to come on in. And y'all play the little Rant song, that sure was. Not lay here, stop. What that do with the book? I drank it. That's a damn fool. Such a politician. They just don't like people who make it. That man, they story about him.
So it was a 6-minute story from start to finish, introducing the incarcerated men and to the end. It was sick. That scene was 6 minutes driving in that car of Slim talking, doing that monologue, and it was not necessary in the story. It seems that Ryan was using that scene, using his story, because everything has to have purpose. We can't just be sharing stuff and it don't make sense or it doesn't add value to the story. And so in this example, Ryan Coogler wants the audience to know that the KKK suck, pretty much, because that's what the story is. That's what the story is. Him and his friend used to play together. They made a lot of money, and his friend got caught up investing into something and wound up getting lynched. And then he lost his manhood. And Stack is just sitting there. Why? If I was Stack, I would have been like, "Fuck the KKK." I mean, still stay in character. Don't just be quiet like Stack. Like it was just kind of out of character to me. Like there should be visceral hate for the KKK between Smoke and Stack. The fact that they're already doing business. Well, they don't know per se that they're doing business with the KKK, but in that sense, like, yo, fuck the KKK. For doing that to him. Something like that. Something that an actual gangster is gonna say. So it's not. The scene just doesn't help at all with the story. If anything, it's just like, okay, we know that the KKK suck. That doesn't take a whole 6-minute dialogue to explain that. We knew the KKK sucked from just in general. We know the KKK suck. So
For a long time no see.
Give me a water. Three. Nice to meet you, Three.
Likewise.
Need you to give us a moment. Maybe our business is good. No. I ain't got time for your scheming Stack. Behind on the forward. Man, fuck your court. It's my wife right here now. I need you to show some respect. Well, fuck your wife too. Behind on the forward. Man, fuck your court. It's my wife right here now. I need you to show some respect. Well, fuck
oh man, and so I hate this scene. Introducing Cornbread, but we don't even know his name. We're not even introduced to his name. I think, yeah. Before I even jump into this, they should have jumped back. The next scene should have been Smoke to really keep up the pace. Because right now I'm bored. I'm bored now after hearing Slim's freaking boring ass story about how much the KKK suck and his friend getting lynched. I'm bored now, and so now we're here, and Slack is being completely disrespectful to another woman. Like, this is crazy. He's trying to get his friend, and he's saying, "Hey man, I got a lot of hard work to do. And he said, "Man, fuck you and your wife." And I'm like, "What the? Are you serious right now? Like, are we serious right now? Like, let's be freaking real right now." Again, it doesn't add to this theme. These are all hardworking people that went out of their way to go support this juke joint. And this movie is called Sinners. They're all sinning because they went to go dance at a party? No, like, go deeper. Make it darker. Make it darker. Make these people conniving people. Don't make them honest working sharecroppers. Make them people who are in the underground industry. So anyway, I hated this scene when it happened. I was like, dude, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. Picture. You know, when I saw the scene, yeah, it's fine. I feel like this scene could have been a little bit more better. I feel like this scene could have been better. I feel like a drawing of a baby there, but they had like some voodoo stuff here and then a baby handprint. It would have been better just, I mean, you can keep the voodoo stuff, fine, but have a picture of the baby or something like that there. You know, something like, I think a little bit more, that would have been stronger to convey to the audience. That's what I think. Because it took me a second to figure out what's going on, but you know, he's obviously visiting someone who passed, and it's a small hand. And I think it would have just been stronger visually to have, you know, some kind of painting or a drawing by Smoke or the mom, you know. So that's kind of, those are my 2 cents with that.
No misery is worth complaining about. Come along. You step on your side there. From that point, walk it all forward. I won't cut you. Make it too drunk. Too drunk. It's one of that puppy.
You grind open.
I think this scene could have been a little bit stronger. Annie being introduced to Stack, or Annie being introduced to us, it's not really clear if they are past lovers. You know, her first, you know, line was, "There's not enough misery worth complaining about," or something like that. You know, some kind of line, you know. And she said, "Are you here alone?" And he said, instead of saying something like, "Yeah, I'm here," she said, "What, why are you here?" You know, she asked him that. And instead of him saying, you know, "I miss you," you know, or "I came to see our son," just keep it simple. I came to see our son, and I opened up a mill, and I want you there to support it and work behind the bar or be the cashier, whatever. You know, start the conversation like that, knowing, okay, they might be distant lovers, but they were lovers in the past. Just make it easy, make it simple for us to understand. You know, like, you're making us think too much because you don't really see the chemistry. Now, people are forcing it on Twitter, but you don't see the chemistry. You know, there isn't. I'm still trying to figure, is this the mom? I mean, and that's real. That's just real. So no, and I know they're saying, oh, they're the same age. She doesn't look the same age. I'm just being visually looking, you know. And so I think about a good actress who I would have liked to see this in this role is Danielle Brooks. I think she would have killed this role. And yeah, I think that don't blame the audience and trying to make us, you know, whatever people are trying to say, colorist for not looking at this woman as his lover. No, blame the people producing the content that it is not as obvious as you think it is. It's not obvious. Y'all just wanted it. Y'all forcing it. You know, we don't know until they start making out and then having sex. I mean, like, that's it.
Thank you. I'm still not just on the way home.
It's make believe shit.
Smoke and the crazy later.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So Annie sells this stuff. Annie sells, you know, her talent is creating sources to heal, you know, with her voodoo knowledge. Okay. And again, I think it would have been better if she was a sinner. Like, I think it would have been better if every character in this movie, except for Sammy, was a negative influence. But you can tell she's a positive influence. She's, you know, helping her community. It just doesn't make sense that these people are sinners because they decide to work at, you know, it just doesn't make sense at all. So, anyway, I had to say that. And not let alone that, okay, there's children here and then they're about to have sex like the next scene. Okay. Like they're gonna have sex literally the next scene. Is she closing up shop? Did they even close the door when they had the scene? They didn't close the door. No one closed the door.
I don't.
All that war, or whatever the hell they're doing in Chicago. And you got to do all 2 days, 2 hours in the morning at work. How you know I ain't free? I work every root my grandmama taught me to keep you to that crazy weather you're gonna say every day since you've been home. Although we do say work always.
Even then, so he has a scene where she's like, I've been praying for you, you know, something about Roots, and then he said, why didn't Roots work on Baby then? Why didn't he say, why didn't your prayers work on our son then? You know, say that, say our son. We're still 4 minutes into this conversation, and again, I think it's just too long. Like, all this is so dragged out. Like, it's just so, like, you're just doing too much. Every scene is just doing too much. And just get to the point, you know, and then we don't have to like be like, oh shoot, you know, Um, yeah, it's just get to the point, yo. Who closed the door though? I want to know from that scene who closed the door, because I didn't see. They didn't make it obvious to close the door. Um. I think that's all I was gonna say. But yeah, it was just so much, like, between like her putting together the mojo bag for him, like, there was a scene where she's making like his little mojo bag, his good luck charm, whatever. He's sitting there smoking his pipe. Like, this whole scene was too long, yo. Like, it was just too long. That's why the pacing is so off. This is supposed to be a horror movie. This is supposed to be like some action. There's no action. There's not enough. There's not enough action, man. And they try to sprinkle it in this movie with him shooting someone in the ass. Like, it's just the pacing is so bad, yo. Like, it's 35 minutes in and it's like so bad. So now we're back. So now we're back with Stack and the guys. They got Cornbread. After him completely disrespecting Cornbread and saying fuck you and your wife, they got Slim and they got Sammy. Now, what makes good movies is they remember the dialogue that is had, that has been made. So, for example, they talked about fellatio, and then later he's performing fellatio in the movie. Also, Stax promised to have Sammy drive on the way back in the beginning of the movie before they picked up Slim. They had the conversations. He's like, I'm gonna have you drive the car on the way back. And he promised him that. That's not happening here. It's inconsistent. It's not. It's just, come on, bro. Come on. Like, why? How you gonna forget what you wrote? It would have been way better. It would have been a little bit more. It would have been dope if it was Sammy driving, and then they're all like, oh, and laughing, and it would have been a way more bonding experience, and showed some accountability with Stack as well. So, as we know, this guy is introduced, Rennick is introduced, and it just kind of shows up out of nowhere, and he's running from Indians. And these white folks are like, who the fuck is this? And he convinces them to he convinces them to let him inside the house. And as we know, vampires are not allowed to be inside the house unless you invite them in.
I thought I could trust them, but they get all of me. Y'all can have it.
So this scene here, I don't know why it just wasn't clear to me that that was like KKK wardrobe, but when I first saw it, but I think it could have been way better if it was hung up somewhere or something like that. But yeah, like, okay, they're trying to focus on this, like, you know, letting us know, okay, these people are Klan members. Got it. And again, what would make this better to understand is that this was going to be worn. No one in this movie actually wore a Klan outfit. The KKK shootout at the end, they were all wearing regular clothes because it's during the day. There's no need to wear a KKK outfit. You wear KKK outfits at nighttime. So why didn't they have the KKK show up at nighttime? It doesn't make any sense. It's inconsistent to show this wardrobe and not even it's not even used in the movie. It's just to show that they're in the KKK. It's just like, come on, bro.
I got go. Them dirty Indians been around me. They did all of me junkie habits. Don't let them hurt me no more. They'll come onto your property. Have you seen anyone recently?
I gotta say they found the whitest looking Indian man to be the lead Indian guy. There was a guy in the back who looked way more distinct than this guy. That's all I gotta say. But the Indians show up, but it doesn't go anywhere. They're never introduced again in this film. The Indians knew what the hell. They knew that they were chasing a vampire, and they don't show up again. You know, and I hear people saying, "Oh, because it was nighttime and vampires at nighttime." Like, it sounded like, to me, I think if you're hunting vampires, that means you know how to handle them even at nighttime. So, I just think, movie purposes, it would have been better if the Indians came to save the day at the end. Something, or they came and they still died, but it all became an event. The KKK comes in, the Indians come in, like everybody and their mom comes in the final battle. You know, because they all, like, everyone in the party winds up just being 6 people. And then when all the vampires come in crashing, that is when, like, they're way outnumbered. And it just doesn't make any sense that, like, these people didn't die, like, right away. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. But I just don't like the fact that, you're introduced. There's some lore now. Okay, we're actually understanding the lore here of this movie. Indians know something. That means that they know that there's vampires. They are aware. That means that they exist. They're supposed to exist. That's what we're supposed to understand here. But they don't bring them back in the movie at all. So.
God forbid you let him into your home. And if so, you need to act now. Dois pá, não tenho mesmo aos dois para tocar pelo lá. Que roia, que ação, está claro. place. Come on in. Welcome to Club Juice. You about to talk about history, boy. We got a whiskey, Irish beer, and wine. No, whiskey, Irish beer, and wine. Is y'all better now? Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Don't fall now. To the right. A little more. Excuse me, ma'am. You sure you at the right place?
Damn good question, boy.
Feel all day. When they show up here looking in driver's house, they gotta feel wanted if you want to see the work. This place won't be there's no house party. Look like it does. You ready? This ain't no house party. And it damn sure ain't no charity. We taking cash. US $4,000. This ain't Chicago, so fuck that man. That don't mean
So we're 45 minutes in, and the party's going, and they have to make this scene. They have to make this issue where Smoke doesn't like that some people are showing up and they're not being able to pay the complete price. I feel like there could have been a better subplot or some type of. I think it could have been better. I think there should have been just more lore into the story of the vampires at this point. You know, I'm just gonna really keep driving in that because there really wasn't enough. You know, we really don't know enough about this. Like, but anyway.
Nigga worked his ass off for them wooden nickels. See, you nigga been working in the field all.
So again, this movie is even setting up that these are good people. These are good, honest people. These people have been working in the field all day. Let them enjoy their night. Let them have fun. This looks like a very fun, positive juke joint. They all don't deserve to be killed at the end of this film. They really don't, you know. And so it would make more sense, again, if these were all like criminals, you know, being invited. Like if juke joints were just known to where criminals come to, you know, not honest, hardworking, sharecropping Black American people. It just doesn't make any sense. It's really, you know, it just doesn't make sense.
excuse me, man. You sure you at the right place?
Damn good question, hombre.
Look, man. You got my $2?
This scene, this is the scene right here where Sammy asks her, "What are you?" And she's like, "What am I? I'm a human being." The fact that he is asking her, "What are you?" really pisses me off because it's just making whiteness a spectacle in this film. I think at this point, Ryan Coogler wants the audience to know that she is a white passing black woman. She identifies as that. She identifies being black, you know. So I just thought this was something that somebody would say in 2025. I don't think people in 1930s are saying, "What are you?" I don't think people are doing that. I think that's completely inconsistent.
What am I? I need to find and they ain't even sent flowers to a funeral. Even send flowers to a funeral.
Okay, and so Smoke comes into the scene, and you know, she is upset that Smoke and Stack has not even sent flowers, you know, to her mom, and you know, after her death. And he's saying, you know, we sent your mom plenty of flowers, all while she was still alive to smell them. And it's just like completely disrespectful. Like, what has she done? What has she literally done to be treated this way? I don't get it. Again, they don't make it clear. Why are they treating her this way? What has she done? She must have done something. What happened? Like, Stack just broke up with her, and then now it's like, fuck her? I mean, or what did her mom do? Did her mom do something to them? Is her mom connected to, like, Smoke and Stack's dad? I have no idea. I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. In this scene where he's like saying, you know, again, Stack is trying to get her out. I don't know why Smoke and Stack want her. What did she do to make these niggas that mad? What the did she do? Just exist? Just look white? I don't understand. They don't make it clear in this film. This scene was kind of cringe. She was like, you know, he's talking about getting multiple women to drag her out. And then she's saying, I'll beat up every bitch in here and you know it because you taught me how to fight. Really? You're not going to beat multiple people. Doesn't matter. You're not going to beat multiple people. You might beat one or two people. Once you hit the 3, you're not getting that. So it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter how well qualified, trained fighter you are. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, it just doesn't make sense that this dialogue here is so unnecessary. So again, that's a pillar that just doesn't work.
If everything to me, and you know it.
I taught you how to walk away from the movies, so too. Got you a rich white husband. Got you a phone. Now go home too.
I ain't asked for none of that. Oh, just should be sure idea. I didn't want no white man. I didn't want to be white. I wanted to be with you.
Oh, you picked the wrong person to hate, see you.
I ain't asked for none of that. Oh, just should be sure idea. I didn't want no white man. I didn't want to be white.
So Ryan Coogler wants us to know she doesn't really identify as white. She doesn't identify as white. She says, I didn't want to be white. I wanted to be with you. And people need to know that back in the 1930s, it's not the same as today when we talk about interracial relationships or people being mixed. And like back in the day, even now, whiteness is a status. Being white is a status. It's not just about your skin tone. It's about your proximity to whiteness and white wealth. So we have plenty of family members who were taken advantage of by their slave masters, and they would have children, mixed babies, half white children. But what makes them different from then and now is that those white slave masters would shun those children. They would not give them any of their money if they passed away. Those half white children would not be given any type of inheritance from the white slave master. So, so on and so forth. We have white passing people, so let's say that mixed kid grows up and then again has a child with a white slave master. That child, who's going to look pretty white at that point, is not even going to is not financially connected to that white man, and is going to be walking around life as a black American, as a what is it? As a bottom caste. That's what it is. So, and I'm assuming that's what she is in this film. Like, she is a bottom caste, but she is white passing, so she can marry a white man and move around the world. But still, her roots are connected to the black American, her people that she grew up with. So, and I think that this scene here really shows that.
White, I wanted to be with you. I bet it to you.
Sorry, I'll be playing alone. They hurt you. They might really gonna come to them all.
So you killed one.
That's right.
So this scene here, I think, is a fairly decent scene. It shows that Stack really cares about her. And the truth is, he doesn't want her around his lifestyle. And again, I don't understand why he said, "You'll be in hell with me." If she's not about that life, what has she done? I mean, she sounds like just a normal, regular girl. So it just doesn't add up, yo. Again, the movie Sinners. It just doesn't make sense. Like, everyone here is good people, and you're telling us this. Like, Ryan is telling us this through the dialogue, that the reason why Smoke doesn't want to be with her is because she's too good for him, and he doesn't want to ruin her life anymore. Which is a fine. It's a fine. That's fine to say. It's fine to be that way, but it just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it just doesn't add up to the theme of the movie. So. So yeah, this music scene here, they get, they're doing like some psychedelic stuff, past, present, and future. Uh, you know, I think overall it's a good scene. I just think that it's a little corny, and especially when they start forcing like the African drums kind of coming in, and it's just like, and then I see the Chinese, like something happening where this Chinese lady is twirling around and saying how everything's connected. It's just a very kumbaya moment, and I just always think these kind of things are hella cringe, for the most part. And yeah, I think that the scene, just the whole scene in general, was way too long for me. It's just way too long before anything starts happening, yo. I mean, like, that's just really how I feel. Don't advertise this movie as some kind of horror flick, and we're an hour in now, and like, we are introduced to the vampires one time, and we don't even know like what the hell the lore is. The story, like, it should just be a huge build up, for that. Yeah. Yeah, that scene was way too long, dude. So we're finally here, where the vampires show up to the party. Just three of them. Just three vampires. Yo, this scene, bro. This scene was not necessary, bro. I think even the scene with when Smoke was having sex with Annie, I don't want to see that, yo. I'm just like, yo, this is porn, yo. Like, I remember back in the day, like, sex scenes used to be like tasteful. You just get an idea. Okay, they went to get it in. This whole, and then this fellatio thing, like, it's just like too much, yo. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of prudent that in that lane. But yeah, I just did not like this freaking scene. It's so annoying. And the only reason why they added this scene is because in the beginning of the movie, Stack is giving him advice about eating a girl out. I don't care about that shit. I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all, I took a break, y'all. I had to go do something else for a couple hours. I was like, yo, this is like homework right now, bro. Like, man. Oh, man. All right, where am I at, yo? But I'm back. I'm back. So where am I at? 1 minute in here. So they're having money problems. Okay? They're having money problems right now. So yeah, Smoke and Stack are having money problems right now. It seems that there's two different kind of money. There's two different types of cash, which this is cool to know about, to learn about. You know, there's sharecropper cash, and then there's cash. I don't really know too much about that, so I think it would have been nice to kind of for that to be a little bit more flushed out. But anyway, they're not making enough money from these people. Oh, who would have thought? Becoming rich off of sharecroppers. So I feel like they should have known that. That should have been known that the money that they're getting is not going to be a lot. You know, throwing this little juke joint. But anyway, that's how they're setting up the film to be. They're setting this up the film to be. 2 months and we're fresh out of cash. So I think the conversation between Smoke and Sammy is good. It's a good conversation. You know, Sammy's talking about life as a musician and wanting to travel, and Smoke is trying to tell him, you know, this is not the life you want to be involved with. And I think this is probably one of the most stronger scenes that could work. If I could just piece certain things together, I swear I want to do that for this movie. Like, if I can just edit this movie and just edit out like the freaking, I really should just do that, to be honest. That would be funny as hell. But because this is a good scene. But what's wrong is that the world building aspect doesn't add up, because honestly, nothing in this movie has shown the negative side of being a musician, outside of now these vampires showing up. But if this was knowledge already to Smoke, because he was in Chicago and knows that people that are involved with the musicians, they have to deal with vampires, and they have to, you know, it could have been a whole world where vampires are involved with politics and, you know, and it just they, you know, run the underworld in that aspect. So, and he's telling them, you don't want to be a musician, like you don't want to be in that life. Again, a place where everyone is truly sinners, like people who are bad, negative influences to society, something like that. But nothing in this movie has shown nothing in this movie supports what Smoke is trying to warn Sammy. The world that Ryan is trying to give us, it does not support it. It just doesn't support it, unfortunately. And then, of course, you know, Smoke winds up threatening him, telling him, you know, you're no longer going to be at the juke joint anymore, this and that. I mean, why even recruit him to be in this juke joint if that's how you feel about Sammy? Like, you want better for him. Why even start? Why did you even bring him to the juke joint? And now that you want to, you know, stand on this high ground that, oh, you don't need to be in this life. Like, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't truly add, or it doesn't explain his actions or reflect his character. You know, I know I've seen him care about the youth, but the movie should have had him and Stax arguing about whether they should get Sammy. You know, it should be some kind of conflict that Smoke didn't even want Sammy there in the first place. Something like that would add up, because Sammy is a representation of everything good, but everything that they're involved with is bad. But right now, it's just a regular juke joint. It's not anything crazy.
Fuck.
So this conversation continues, and he talks about his dad. This is one of the highlights of this movie, is he's talking about their dad, who's literally evil, you know. And so, and even the mayor, you know, knew that that even the mayor for these boys, when Smoke killed his dad, knew that the dad was evil. So that means people knew that his dad wasn't shit and was evil. And I think it could have been it could have been a much stronger connection for his dad to be somewhere in this film and make an impact on some level. It just makes sense. I don't see the point of this besides them besides Ryan Coogler trying to tell us their backstory and how their trauma. You know, I think that there are better ways to do that throughout the film without just sitting there telling someone something. It needs to all connect to this, to the lore of this world. It can't just be by itself. Maybe your dad, you know, was in the nightlife. Maybe his dad was in the nightlife and dealt with vampires and eventually turned, or maybe he got turned after, you know, after Smoke thought he killed him. It's just so much potential that could have went down here. So Smoke and Mary have this conversation. Stack and Mary, they are having a conversation. They're cool again, I guess, after that crazy conversation of him pretty much telling her, you know, stay away from me. I'm too good for you, whatever. He shares with her that Smoke and Stack are running out of money, and she suggests, oh, let me go outside and talk to the white folks. I'm sure they have money. It's just 3 white folks out there. You're saying you're trying to figure out if 3 white folks are going to be the difference between them running out of money in 2 months versus 6 months versus 2.5 months. I don't understand like the logic. Why did she need to go outside to see the vampire? These are one of the plot holes that we're talking about, the plot devices to move the story forward, because the Ryan Coogler makes it difficult for this to play out because these vampires need to be invited in versus actually going in and wreaking havoc, which I think is clever to have them. They needed to be invited in, you know, but also I think they should be able to be kicked out and not able to come in. You know, I think those rules should apply. And I think I'll say that later too. But anyway, she goes out there to talk to the vampires, and then guess what happens? There's too much sorry. There is too much music going on in this freaking film, dude. Like, this movie's already long enough. So they're out here singing, and like, it's just, and this song that they're singing is way too long. It's way too long. It's way too freaking long.
I'm looking at that now, and I think y'all should too.
Okay, so as predicted, she went out there and literally for no reason to get a couple coins, gold coins. Like, It's just, she went out there to see if she can get money without inviting them into the party. I mean, I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense. So now she's in a situation where, oh snap, these guys are vampires, this and that. And there's still not much action because he just flies up in the air and then we go to the next scene. We don't even see them attacking her. So all right. So things are starting to pick up a little bit in this movie. Cornbread goes to take a piss. All right, and he just happens to take, first of all, the longest piss ever. Because the next scene they don't even show him till later, but he walks hella far. He walks hella far to take a piss. He could literally just walk right there in the pole and take a piss. Why walk all the way into the woods? It makes no sense at all. This motherfucker, this dude goes all the way out to take a piss, man. He goes all the way out here to take a piss. Like, how much feet do you think he went to take a piss? This is crazy. Crazy work. Okay, this scene where she spits in his mouth, man, what the hell, dude? This is just a freaky ass movie. I'm sorry, that's freaky as hell. God, dude. This movie's so bad, bro. So this scene here, after everyone heard all the shots of Stack getting killed by Mary, Slim tells them the party's over, and they're like, oh man, why? Everyone heard the gunshots. Everyone heard the gunshots, the music cut off and everything. And then they see a bloody woman running out of the mill. I mean, it's just so poorly. I mean, it would make more sense if the music was still going and nobody actually heard it. That's what would have made sense. Doesn't make sense. And people are like mad that they're mad that the party's over. They're mad that the party's over, even though they heard a bunch of gunshots. Like something happened. Like multiple gunshots, like 10 gunshots. So it just, yeah.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate y'all. Go on, man. See you soon.
We got the problem now. I could have stopped it.
Don't do that.
I think it was making love.
Sammy, this is not your fault.
I really think.
Did she say anything?
Just that we gonna kill all of you.
We? She said we. Smoke. We gotta move his body outside. Just for now.
Don't touch him. Nobody. more here.
You shot her, and she kept running like nothing happened. Mr. Hank, we're dealing with his fault. Or worse, we gotta keep everybody inside and a dead body out.
There ain't no dead body. It's Stan. Stan killed me. Best thing about me,
Lisa's waiting.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
let's go home.
yeah, man, it's lost it.
But we came here to help. The party knows this. We gotta go home, okay?
Okay.
Lisa's waiting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
let's go home.
yeah.
Go get the
All right,
car.
I'll get the car.
Okay. Watch over him.
See, dog, what happened to you, Smoke? Stack Dave. Nigga, what the fuck happened to you? I'm sorry. All right, well, let me in so I can help.
Hold on.
What y'all doing? Just step aside and let me on in now.
Why you need him to do that? You being strong enough to push past it?
Well, that wouldn't be too polite now, would it, Miss Annie? I don't know why I'm talking to you anyway. Probably your fish sandwich messed up my guts in the first place. Using old stale grease.
I ain't never used stale grease, you know.
Shut up, Annie.
Don't
Smoke.
talk to him. You're talking to me right now. Why you can't just walk your big ass up in here without an invite, huh? Go ahead. Admit to it.
Nigga, what?
That you gave. That one of them white folks out there killed you and you ain't hate now.
Oh, you listening to this? Woman, this man showed me kindness. Employed me. Grabbed me out the field. Now he's telling ghost stories in place of doing what we ought to do. And what is it we supposed to do? Being kind to one another. Being polite. So, don't get
Singing again. Singing again, bro. Singing is Irish and then having black people doing the Irish dance. This is whack, man. This is whack. This is whack. This is like a music video movie. It's like a music video movie. This is crazy.
Y'all gonna eat this foe regardless.
Who is this dude? Who is this guy? He had no lines. He's just part of the crew. Oh no, he's just a guy that's just gonna die. They needed like someone to die when the vampires come bursting in. So dude had no lines. So there's a garlic scene, right, where Annie has all this knowledge about the vampires, and you know she's making everyone eat a garlic to test and see if someone in there is a garlic, if someone in there is a vampire, because I found someone earlier dead, a guy who was dead or knocked out in a pool of blood, so to speak, but it was actually wine, I think, and regardless, they think it's blood, and then they're all going around eating garlic, and no one is a vampire. What was the purpose of this scene? What was the purpose of this scene? Nothing significant happened. They did like a little jump scare with Slim, you know, with the alcohol and garlic. It didn't work well or something, and he was tripping. But other than that, there was no, like, it made no sense. It was a wasted scene. I mean, have someone in there be undercover and then invite everybody in. That's what would have been better if the Chinese girl was an undercover vampire the whole time, or whatever. She turned somehow, but anyway. So the guy they found on the floor, they just randomly took him out. Was he even dead or was he knocked out? But they realized that it was wine. What was the purpose of this scene? What was the purpose of this scene? Was this the guy they dragged out? Was this the guy they dragged out? I don't understand. And they don't make it that clear. It looked like he just walked up. Why didn't they start the scene with him getting up off the ground? And then it doesn't make sense. Oh man, I'm getting tired as freaking. How much time left this movie, man? This movie's almost over. Movie's almost over. Wow, I've been sitting here for 40 minutes already. Jeez, bro. So yeah, so Rennick is here, and like I said, I think Rennick is a DEI vampire. I think white people needed someone to root for, and you know, a good complex villain is what they're rooting for, because all the other people, all the other white folks in the movie are Klansmen. So, yeah, I think Ryan Coogler just wanted to check off all these boxes, but this is definitely a DEI character in this movie, making this dude an Irish guy who's some type of ally, you know. But yeah, he's filling them in that, oh, the Ku Klux Klan were gonna come kill you. They're always gonna kill you. That's not guaranteed. As we know, at the end of the movie, Smoke was able to take them out all by himself. So, which is super unrealistic, but here we are, you know. So, but yeah, he's exposing that, oh, the Ku Klux Klan sold them the mill and this and that, and then, you know, he was saying something like, you know, Rennick is gonna pay that bigot a visit. So when you're calling someone a bigot, that means your views don't align with them. So he's pretty much saying he's not a racist. He's just a vampire who wants to start his own group of vampires. That's what he's saying. And we get here. This is where the movie goes downhill completely. When Grace invites all the vampires in. Again, it would make more sense if she did not care for these people and her relationship with Smoke was completely transactional and she was actually racist. It would make way more sense. It would make this scene a gut and a punch in the gut. But it looks stupid. It's like, okay, this is just bad writing. I mean, because it doesn't match her character. She's been pretty level-headed the entire movie, you know, very analytical type of energy she has, not unreliable or out of control or unstable. You know, she doesn't have that type of, she was not that type of character. If you're going to make her this kind of character, make her predictable in that way, but don't have her crash out on the potential of her daughter being bitten and turning into a vampire. You know, like, don't. It just, you need to make the stakes a little bit more higher, to me, for her to crash out like this outside of her character. That's how I feel. Yeah. So there's about 7 people. So they're all coming in. 7 people are lined up. This random dude. We got Perline here. This is the only dude here we don't know. Oh my God, dude. Fuck. So we got this random guy here. We got Perline. We have Annie. We have Smoke. We have Sammy. We have Grace. And we have Slim here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people are about to fight. What? How many people were at this party? All 50 of them. Maybe more. And we're supposed to believe that they're about to survive this? That's what we're about to believe? Okay. So that was already about 20 people in there coming in. They're shooting vampires. So Grace is dead. Now Perline's shooting. Now who's this guy? Now this guy here is getting bitten. Okay. So I'm assuming that's the random guy, right? That's the random guy, right? Another random person is getting jumped on. There was only 7 people left in the building. So who are these extra people getting killed? Doesn't add up.
Damn it. Time it though.
All right. There's a third person. So Mary is about to jump on another person. So that's 3 people right there. But that doesn't include Perlene, Mary, Smoke, Grace. Oh, Grace got burnt, so she's out. So Mary, Perlene. Sorry, not Mary. Sorry. Annie, Perlene, Smoke, Slim, and Sammy. I'm assuming the random guy got killed. We know that Grace got killed. There was 2 other people who got jumped and attacked are getting eaten by 3 different characters. It doesn't add up. It does not add up. So Annie is gotten bit by Stack, and now Smoke is killing Annie. And there's just vampires scattered everywhere. I don't know what's happening. They're just standing around. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. This going down right now. It's crazy. It makes no sense. I don't know why everyone's leaving. Why is everyone leaving? Attack Smoke. There's multiple of y'all. Just jump on him and bite him. So this is what they call it. Oh man, what is it called, man? I forget what it's called, but they obviously just didn't attack him because he's the main character instead of just all jumping on him. This movie should have ended like that, like everyone being turned, because this battle's so stupid, so bad. And so now the vampires come back. They took a break. They took a smoke break, but are now all attacking Slim because Slim cut his arm and he's like they're a bunch of sharks. I don't understand. But yeah, Smoke gets away. They all are somehow survived, even though they started off with 7 people. And like there was 40 against him. It was like yeah, it was crazy. I don't know what the hell. So all the vampires are supposed to feel the same pain as this guy Rennick. But the scene where Perlene stabs him, it doesn't show Stack actually feeling the pain. So it's inconsistent. It's just inconsistent. So the vampires die from the sun. Most predictable thing ever. Vampires die from the sun, and I don't know if Rennick died from the stake through his chest or the sun, or it's both. Regardless, they all die. Okay? They all die. They all die. And anyway, the movie turns into a new movie where Smoke is fighting the KKK. He waits them out. I guess he knew that they were going to come in the morning, as if Rennick told him that they were going to come in the morning. Why would they come in the morning? They should have came at night. That would have been way better if they showed up at nighttime during the whole craziness going down. That would have made the movie even more interesting. You know, like if the Indians showed up, KKK showed up, we would have been one big happy family. You know what I mean? Like some real solidarity in different ways. That's what I think. So, but we didn't get that. We got Smoke doing a 1v20 and killing all these Ku Klux Klan members who are armed as well. He winds up getting shot once, and he allegedly dies. And Annie's in the shot with her son.
So it's a girl. Actually, it's a girl. So
why did I do this? Why did I choose to torture myself? Oh, man. So anyway, Smoke is dying. He's hallucinating. He's seeing Annie in the afterlife and his daughter who passed away, and their daughter that passed away. And we think he pretty much dies. At least we think he dies. I don't know. They might bring him back because they don't really show him dying. They just show him killing this KKK guy. God.
relived it that night. But before the sun went down, keep torn, keep living. No pain. Oh boy.
Oh man, I'm so glad I'm done with this freaking movie, dude. Yeah, the movie's pretty much over. It ends with Sammy growing up, becoming a legend, and singing, and I guess he never hears from vampires again. So again, the world building was not consistent. Pretty much what happened is Rennick was just a one-time thing. It wasn't. There was no lore around it. It's just he just came out of nowhere. Who knows how long he's been around? He had no other followers when he was introduced. He was just by himself, and then he started with those KKK members. And then since 1930, the rest of 60, 70 years up until 1992, Sammy doesn't see any more vampires until he sees Stack and Mary together. And yeah, it's just their shot to possibly having some kind of sequel or prequel. You know, who knows, you know. But yeah, there's just so many things that just didn't add up. But yeah, the movies are hard to watch, and this is definitely the last time I'm gonna watch the movie, like, ever. So anyway, that's my breakdown of this film. I'm gonna edit it, but yeah, if you guys appreciate this analysis, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. You know, share this on TikTok or Twitter, and yeah, I might make a short form review, but yeah, those are my thoughts. All right, I'll catch y'all later, and appreciate y'all. Peace.